Hey guys, welcome to the CO visit. Colin here once again, and always my trusty coffee. Well, thank you for clicking on this video. Remember, you can like and subscribe. There's super thanks. There's memberships, all those things you can do to support the channel, and I thank you for that. Got my Kraken hat on. Go Kraken! Anyway, regarding this issue with the legal document that Watchtower has for Jehovah's Witness parents who may be facing custody battles when the other party is trying to get custody based on religious reasons. They're going to use that as a way to get custody of the child for the welfare of the child, okay? So I just want to speak to that, and I want to speak directly to you active witnesses out there, because you're the ones that need to know this, and you need to analyze this and be honest with yourselves. Those of us who are ex-members, we're going to tell things like they are. We've got absolutely no reason to cover things up or lie or anything else. But you guys are the ones that need to open your eyes and listen to this. So my question is very, very simple today in this video. To my active witness members, let's say that you are in one of these litigations for custody of a child, okay? And of course, Watchtower has everything carefully planned out, what you should say, how you should present things about your beliefs, about the doctrines. And in said document, they say many times, well, they may bring up this argument, or they may say this, or the cross-examination might ask this question, because a certain teaching or a certain doctrine or procedure may seem or be presented as extreme. So you see, they mention that several times of how the beliefs and how the doctrines appear to outsiders, to non-witnesses. So by default, basically what's happening, you're confessing, you're admitting that yes, these practices seem extreme. They can be taken that way, and they definitely are. Because here, guys, we're talking about, at the end, when we're talking about custody and welfare of children, this is something that for me hits home very personally, because I had to go through these things with my daughter, and because of shunning, and because of the way she was getting discriminated and treated by her family, she attempted suicide. So those beliefs and those practices do have an effect on people, and especially young ones. So, my Jehovah's Witness friends, let me ask you this. According to your belief system, just like when I was a witness, I would have done the same thing. Okay? You're Jehovah's only chosen people. Your governing body is the only channel through which Jehovah sends new light and spiritual food and all of that stuff to his followers. Only Jehovah's Witnesses will be saved in Armageddon. All the other false religions will be destroyed. And the head of that, the beast being the nations, and the harlot being false religion, but the most reprehensible part of false religion being the Catholic Church, which is like the head, will be destroyed. So stop bullshitting yourself right there, okay? Stop the bullshit. That's what you believe. That's what all of us believed, okay? So why having that belief system, and the first thing that they say in the document is, there's reminders, number one, tell the truth. Tell the truth. Now, are you going to tell the kind of truth regardless of what the circumstances might unfold to be, regardless of the consequences? Are you going to tell the truth and stick by your beliefs Even if that means losing your child, are you going to be loyal to your Jehovah, to your belief system, to your organization, to your governing body? Are you willing to lose your children? Are you willing to, like in some countries, go to prison? Or are you going to do what's in this document and tell half truths and watered down truths? Like we say here in Honduras in Spanish, are you going to put makeup on the truth? Are you going to put a filter on the truth? Like a messenger filter or a Snapchat filter or a TikTok filter to make it look like something it isn't? Make it softer? My question is, why would you need to do that? Wouldn't that be a test of your faith? Wouldn't that be a true test of your mettle as a Christian? Because in the end, la gran puta mira, every single time I make a fucking video, estos hijos de puta vienen con el camión. Todos los días. So, gotta wait here for this fucking noise to stop. It doesn't matter what time of day. I can take any random time of day to come out here and make a video, and this fucking truck pulls up. Anyway, so now I lost my train of thought. So why would you need to do that? Why would you need to do that? You see, that doesn't seem like truth. That doesn't seem like that you're really willing to go all the way when it comes to your beliefs. Whatever happens, whatever the case might be, you're going to stick to your beliefs. You're going to tell absolutely the truth, no matter how it might sound to non-believers. And if you lose your children, if you lose whatever it is, well, that's a test of faith, right? Just like Job, right? Job lost everything. Do you believe you'll get it back in the end? Do you believe that Jehovah is faithful? That he'll bless you because you stuck to your guns? You would not compromise your beliefs or water down the truth just to avoid losing things? No han pasado 15 minutos todavía. So, are you willing to do that? That's my question. Are you willing to do that? So they say, for example, when they ask you a question, for example, there's a question about blood, for example, and they say, okay, a typical question might be, is it true you might let one of your family members or your child die if they have to get a blood transfusion? And they said, instead of saying, yes, we would, and this and that, say, we'll allow the best, we look for the best medical treatments for our children, and blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. That's not the question. If we ask a few good men type of question when Colonel Jessup is on the stand, Jack Nicholson, would you or would you not, cards down, back against the wall, if the only thing was a blood transfusion, would you or would you not make the decision to let a family member or your child die? Yes. The answer to that question is yes, you would. Now, maybe some of you might grow a conscience in that moment and disobey that system and say, no, I'm not going to let my child die. I can't do it. But lots of Jehovah's Witnesses will and have. They have. We know it. All of you know it. So why would you say anything else? Why wouldn't you just come right out and say, if that were the only alternative, because in the Bible, we're taught that blood is sacred to Jehovah, and by no means we can put that in our body. So if he had to die, he has to die. Jehovah can resurrect him later on, but I have to be faithful. Well, that might cause you to lose your child, but are you willing to do that? These are the questions that you need to answer. Not for me, because I already know. But you need to hear yourself answer it and say yes so that you can wake up. Because you see, this is exactly the kind of political or legal maneuvering that the governing body did, for example, when Jeffrey Jackson and Sam Hurd were on the stand for the Australian Royal Commission. They skirted around the questions. They watered down the answers. There's another one in this document that talks about shunning. Specifically, they usually don't ever use that word. You never see the word shunning in Watchtower articles or in books. But in documents like that are not for the public, they use that word because that's what they practice. And they come out and they say, well, when a person is disfellowship, that only cuts off the spiritual relationship with the congregation. Doesn't affect the family. The love and the care continue. Oh, really? Is that real? Is that the truth, Jehovah's Witnesses? If one of your children is disfellowshipped, does the love and care continue because that doesn't affect you at all? Answer that with a straight face. Answer that with a straight face. Don't give me scriptures in Corinthians. Don't give me, I'm asking you as a person, a human being, a parent. If you're telling the truth, is that the truth? My daughter, Cosette, was just a Jehovah's Witness. She made the decision to change her beliefs, to not go anymore. Did her love and care continue on? Was her disfellowshipping only severing the spiritual ties with the congregation, not with the family? Well, then why did her family stop talking to her? The next day, why did her family stop greeting her? Why did her uncle refuse to help her with her apprenticeship in the bank now that she wasn't a witness anymore? And he said it, I showed the what's up. And if I need to upload it again, I will, but it's in Spanish. But based on the decision she took, he said, I can't help you anymore. I'm not going to help you. So that's discrimination. He's discriminating her based on her beliefs now because they're different. And yet they say in those articles that they don't do that. So am I missing something here? Am I missing something? No, I'm not missing anything. I didn't grow up on Mars or on some other planet or some alternate universe or a multiverse. I grew up in the same organization that you are all a part of today. And some of the things that have never changed, not significantly since when I was a witness, are the disfellowshipping and shunning policy, even though they say, well, you can greet someone if they're at the Kingdom Hall. Well, big whoop-de-doo. But the basic practice still exists. The shunning and everything else. It still is what it is. The blood issue, yeah, they've added fractions and all that, but that happened when I was a kid in the 90s. The 90s, that all came about, blood fractions. But still, for the most part, you can't take a blood transfusion. So my whole question here to Jehovah's Witnesses, why does that document need to exist in the first place? Why do they need to tell you how to answer questions? If you are a trained minister of Jehovah and you know what your beliefs are, why would you need to change your wording at all? Because the fact of the matter here is just what they confess in their documents. Just like it does in the manual, the elder's manual. Those beliefs will be taken as extreme if you say them that way to people outside of the organization, because they are. They are. Anybody willing to let one of their family members die, or themselves, or one of their children because of blood, is an extremist, a fanatic. Anybody willing to cut off one of their family members from one day to the next just because they're not a witness anymore is an extremist. That's the reality, folks. That's what you have to open your eyes to. If that wasn't, then they would tell you, stand up for your beliefs, just like Job. Just like Job. If you really, really have faith in Jehovah, leave things in Jehovah's hands. Things will work out eventually, won't they? Even if they take your child away. Somehow, it'll all work out. But you have to tell the truth. But that's not what you're doing. You're putting makeup on the truth. Something to think about today. I hope this resonates with some of you out there. Be blessed, everybody. And I'll see you in the next CO visit.